Okay, so today we're going to make a wooden sign with the laser cutter, and we're going to show you how to set it up once you're in the makerspace. So first you want to plug in your flash drive and open up your completed Adobe Illustrator file. And then once you open this up, you just want to make sure it looks the same as when you designed it. Make sure no formatting changed from computer to computer. Then we're going to click File, and we're going to go down and click Print. So we'll notice here that the dimensions are not 40 by 28, so we need to click Setup and go to Preferences, and then change the horizontal and vertical dimensions to 40 by 28 to match that of the laser cutter bed. So click OK, click Print, and it might not show up the first time, so we're going to do it one more time. Again, just going to Preferences and switching it to 40 by 28, and now it showed up. So we click Print to send it over to the Epilog Job Manager. So we're going to open up the Epilog software, and we're going to go to the Jobs tab, and your project should be first in the queue. So we open it up, and we clicked the file in the bottom left hand corner and selected our material, and mine is a 1/4 inch wood, and we're going to set it on 600 DPI in order for the fastest engraving. So we're going to go back in, we're going to click Preview, and here you can look at raster and vector by themselves to make sure you're cutting out and engraving what you want specifically. Switch it back to combined, and now we want to turn on the air filter, and next the air compressor, and then we'll turn on the laser cutter itself. Now we're going to place our material into the bed of the laser cutter, and we're going to attach the plastic guide to the little hooks on the front of the laser. And here we're going to move the bed up and down in order to focus the laser. So the goal is to have the plastic touch the wood ever so slightly, so they should just be very, very slightly touching. So to do this, we do focus, and we move the toggle up and down to move the print bed, or the laser bed, up and down. So next we're going to go in, and we're going to click Print, which is just the little print icon. So now it should be sent over to the laser cutter. So we're going to close it, make sure our job is the first in the queue, and it is. So we're going to click Go, and then it should immediately begin to engrave, and then it'll do the vector cuts after it's done engraving. You can see it in slow-mo once it started on the tigers, and you just want to keep a careful eye on it to make sure there's no flare-ups or anything that could possibly go wrong and cause a fire hazard with the machine. So do not leave it unattended. So here it is finishing up, and then now it's going to make the vector cuts and cut the outline of the tiger heads out. And then next it'll cut the end of the wood off so that it's to our preferred dimensions. And it didn't make it through, so what we want to do is we're going to go back to the preview and select vector and then click Print. That way it'll only go through the vector cuts one more time, because the vector cuts did not make it all the way through the first time. Now when doing this, you have to be careful, because sometimes it can be more of a fire hazard to go over something a second time. Here we're just making sure that the vector cuts make it through, and this is after the first time, and they did not. And we just kind of lifted the piece a little bit, tried to move it as little as possible, and push on the pieces that were supposed to pop out. So we're going to click Go, and it should go over just the vectors once again in order to make sure they're all the way through. So it's just going over those one more time, and as you can see, the little pieces are starting to fall through a little bit, which is a good sign. It means it's going all the way through them. I would not recommend cutting something more than twice. It is a increased fire hazard each time you go over something that's already been cut. So finally it's done, and put on your protective eyewear and go to the bench and then push out all the little pieces. And here's the final product. And here it is displayed in the makerspace.